YTBC, what's the deal? So, the Malik Scott that I thought would show up against Deontay Wilder, he showed up last night against Tony Thompson. And what I mean by that is, when he did get hurt, I thought he'll get up, continue to box. If his back hit the ropes, spin off the ropes, pot shot, use his quick hands, use a jab, throw combinations. The Malik Scott that I, seen in the past, like against Glaskov, that was the Scott that I thought I'll see with Deontay Wilder, but he showed up last night against Thompson. So I was wrong about this prediction. I picked Thompson to win, Just Malik Scott, the Chisora and the Deontay Wilder fight just leaves, left a bad taste in my mouth as far as watching it. And just, it looked like he wanted out of those fights, in my opinion. Some of you may think different. Last night, he put on a boxing clinic for the most part. I pretty much gave him anywhere from 7 to 8 of those rounds. It wasn't so much he was beating him down, but, physically beating him down, but just pot shotting Thompson, throwing combos, stand away. He was using his legs for his defense last night, and he made Thompson look really old in there. But for Thompson's credit, Thompson's been really old the last 7, 8 years. I keep telling everybody, last night wasn't the first time I've seen him look like that. He looked probably worse against Takam when I watched that fight. I know he was carrying an extra, 6, 7 pounds going into that one. So he looked like he was fighting in cement. Couldn't let his hands go, looked very slow on his feet, looked sluggish. I didn't know if him fighting with his hands down was from fatigue, but that's how he fights, kind of awkward. Started his career really late, so, he didn't have much time to really hone his technical skills, starting at 27. But he's 44 years old now, he's been in the game for a while. And I still think he's a viable contender, for somebody that's going to bring the fight to him. He could still make for an exciting fight. He may get knocked out trying to fight like that, fighting some of these, the Anthony Joshuas and the Joseph Parkers, guys who can really crack. But for somebody that's going to stay away from him and use their reach or use a jab or just use their feet as their defense, they're going to give Thompson trouble. But if you're standing in front of him, you want to trade and fight from close quarters, that's what he likes to do. He doesn't use that, 6'5" frame at all. He doesn't use it at all. He likes to get close and he likes to brawl for the most part. But Thompson's a tough dude. Malik Scott, he got dropped in the 9th. And I was like, oh, here we go. The way he hit the ground didn't look like he got hit that hard. Again, I'm not in there with him, but when he gets hit sometimes, like the Wilder fight and then what I saw last night, he doesn't seem like he got hit as hard, man. He got hit with an uppercut. I thought that punch landed more flush than that right. The right hit him on the side of the head, so it maybe messed with his, his balance, knocked him off balance, equilibrium, all that thing. But it didn't seem that hurt. But when he hit the canvas pretty damn hard, and then he got up and he fought on and he won the decision. So if he continues to show that type of heart once he gets hurt or knocked down, then I would probably start to pick Malik Scott in fights. And I said that there was a high possibility of this happening. Malik Scott using all his attributes and making Thompson look very old. So, I was wrong about the prediction, but I knew Scott was capable of this. I said this in my prediction video. Deontay Wilder was at the fight, and maybe some of you may feel different about this, but I don't want to see Deontay Wilder versus Malik Scott again. And they're just too close of friends for me. They're just way too close of friends, man. The way Deontay Wilder was saying is like they kick it, they hang out, they know they're like brothers, and it's like that's why the first fight looked like that. But that's a different different topic, different story. But I don't want to see them fight again, man. They're just too buddy from the way Deontay Wilder was describing their relationship, and he also said that he would rather fight Tony Thompson. So that's a clear indication he just doesn't want to fight Scott again. Maybe because it could be because of the style. And he was giving Malik Scott a lot of props and breaking him down. Deontay Wilder, I can tell he's studying the sport, man. Like he was breaking both of those guys' styles down pretty accurately. For a guy that started late himself, he was saying that they need to use the jab, talking about their footwork, the way they were reacting to punches, tying up. He was really breaking it down on a telecast. For those of you that didn't see the fight, if you go to bouncetv.com, The fight's on there right now. You can watch it. You can watch all the fights from the fight card for free. They streamed it last night, A+ stream, watched it for free on my iPhone. So shouts out to Bounce TV for doing that, allowing that. But it's on there right now. If you haven't seen it, go to bouncetv.com, watch the fight. Wilder indicated that he wanted to fight Povetkin next, but then he said, they wanted a stay busy fight, but it looks like he's going to fight Povetkin. We have to hope that, well, I'm not going to say we have to hope, but if you want to see Povetkin and Wilder, then you have to hope that Povetkin gets past Mariusz Watch without any injury, harm, and most importantly, without a loss. Because he's fighting, I believe their fight is it in a week? I think it's next week, if I'm not mistaken. So I need to do a prediction video on that. So if he was there scouting an opponent just in case the Povetkin fight doesn't fall through, which, on the business end, you have to, look at things for long term. It's not a given that Povetkin's going to win this fight with Mariusz Watch. His only loss is to a Klitschko. So, and he has size advantage and he's a tough dude. So if he was there scouting, I would have wanted more to see Thompson versus Wilder, because I know Thompson's going to bring the fight and he wants to fight, and Wilder wants to fight too, although he has shown the ability to move back, use his jab. He showed it in the Bermane-Stavern fight. So I don't want to see Scott again, man. Like I said, they're just too close of friends for me. They're kicking it. He's always in his training camp. They're sparring with each other all the time. It's just not it just doesn't make for good in-ring action, in my opinion, most of the time. But Bounce TV, that was a good card yesterday. I was impressed by the Lipsness kid. He fought Lydell Road, man, he kept looking down, and he kept looking down at the ground. Every time he would circle out to his right, he would look down and then circle out, look down. He kept kind of remind me of Alan Green. I don't know if you guys remember Alan Green, super middleweight. He used to always do this thing where he would look down at the canvas. Like, he'll be standing in front of a guy and he had this habit of always looking down. I remember on one of the telecasts, I forgot if it was on the ESPN card. It could have been Teddy Atlas that pointed it out. And I was watching it too. Like, why does he keep looking down? It's just a bad habit he developed. And Lydell Rose had that bad habit when he's circling out to look down all the time. But that was a close fight. Could have went either way. They gave it to the Lipsness kid. I'm gonna pay more. I'm gonna keep it real. I haven't paid much attention to either of those guys. I'm more of a heavyweight fan, but that was a good fight. Javante Starks, hometown kid, he lost yesterday. I had it a draw, and some of you may think I'm being biased having it a draw. I know two judges had it 6 rounds to 2, and the other judge had it 5 rounds to 3 for Samuel Figueroa. So good win for him. But I think Starks will be back. He wasn't letting his hands go, man. I've been in the gym with him. I've seen him spar. I've seen him let his hands go way more. And they mentioned the other guys that's coming out of Minnesota, Jamal James and Robert Brandt. I've been in the gym with those guys, seen them guys train, spar with those guys, and I'm a heavyweight. So Starks could have let his hands go way more than he did yesterday. He wasn't using his reach, his range. I mean, this kid was 115 with 15 losses in the amateurs, Golden Gloves champion. He was favored going into the Golden Gloves the next following year, and he lost to a kid you may know, Errol Spence. Errol Spence actually upset Starks in the Golden Gloves championship. But Starks is a good fighter. He just wasn't letting his hands go. I don't know for what. I don't know if he was out of respect for Figueroa, but I think Starks will bounce back, but just my opinion. But yeah, Thompson and Scott, it was a good fight last night. Scott did what I thought he was very capable of doing, using his supreme boxing skills. I like to see him in there. I think now if that Scott shows up, I think he could beat Brian Jennings. I think he could possibly beat Brian Jennings. But I know he's from Philly and Jennings from Philly, so I don't know if they're super friends. I don't know if that fight would happen. But I like to see him in there with the Ortiz. I see some guys online saying Ortiz will knock his ass out, but shit, Ortiz did show power against Vedando, but shit, he has to hit the target first, and Malik Scott is a slippery target in there. YTBC, I'm out.